Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. It's alive! Resident Evil 2 The Remake has arrived. We're currently neck deep in this game, but want to take a brief moment to come to you today and tell you about our first impressions of this Capcom remake.
And today we're also drinking a beer by Firestone Walker. Today we're drinking Mocha Merlin. It's a chocolate and coffee infused milk stout. Sounds really good.
Alright, here we go. You know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's talk about Resident Evil 2. Alright, here we go. Our first impressions of Resident Evil 2. We're going to attempt to keep this spoiler free, so no worries moving forward. If we ruin something for you, we're sorry. We're about 6 hours into the game. I want to know, what was the very first thing you thought of when we started playing this game? What was the first thing that came to mind?
I was blown away. It felt like a movie. Like, the graphics were so sweet, and I've never played Resident Evil 2, so this was my first time playing this game. And holy hell, it's incredible.
Visually, it is very stunning. They did a fantastic job with the visuals, I agree. The rain and stuff like that in that opening scene is just, it really dials in the mood. It feels really, really cool. The one thing I was worried about, because I have played the classic games, is how modern would this feel? Would it have too much hand-holding? How true to the original games would they keep it? And I am fairly impressed. I think most classic Rez fans will find this game to be exactly what they were looking for in a Rez 2 remake.
And it's awesome, you pointed that out last night when we were playing, that like everything in the scene is old. So there's like typewriters and like old cars and old computers. Like they didn't modernize anything, and I think that's so cool. It's just little details that make this game so much better than it could have been.
Yeah, and it has a very just traditional feel. You know, you're going for, you know, it's kind of, you have to get the items. Resource management is key. I kept thinking through it, like, this kind of just feels a lot like Rez 4. We had just recently, within the last year, beat Rez 5 again.
Yes.
And so we're kind of in that Resident Evil mode, and it just was almost like we hit the ground running. There was very little learning curve for us because we're in that mindset already.
Yeah, and with Rez 5, that's the only one I've really played a lot. You have to save your resources, you have to find herbs and first aid spray, and that's what we did in this game. We went into every room. I love puzzles, and this is a huge puzzle. You have to backtrack, and you have to go to rooms multiple times and unlock. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think is the best about Resident Evil 2 was it is still puzzle driven, but there's still a lot of action. It's very much a traditional survival horror game, just done to perfection. And then it's got a new coat of paint to bring it to the modern era. So there is very few gripes about the way that they did this game. And it twists your head into knots. And there's so many times we were just like bringing up the map, we're like, we have literally been everywhere.
Yeah, where do we go now?
Yeah, and if you don't go through things with a fine-tooth comb, you're gonna miss a little, you know, nugget or a code that you might need or something like that. So keep your eyes open. Very important. The other thing that I really like about it is the lighting. So the game is scary as shit, and it has so much to do with the lighting. You are simply guided by flashlight. And we picked Leon, so you have a choice between Leon and Claire, which is cool because I'm guessing that's going to warrant a second playthrough for us.
Which is really sweet.
But we went with Leon, so we're inside with his flashlight, and you really can only see that, where that flashlight beam is going. And so there are jump scares. The zombies look incredible. They're freaking terrifying. They feel so frustrating and annoying.
Yes.
They're so hard to kill. You have to put so many bullets into them, and then, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but once they're down, be careful, because they're not always dead.
No, yeah, you have to, if they're down, sometimes they don't move, and so shoot them one or two more times, because there was multiple times they were down, I walked past them and they grabbed me, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
You weren't moving.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
So there is a little bit, it is very fluid controls, but there is a little bit of that traditional Resident Evil stiffness. Like, you can't do a ton of melee attacks. It makes you very cautious to go near zombies, so probably avoiding them is your best tactic. Yeah. In the DLC, one thing that I've seen is the original sounds and soundtrack from the game, so I think, I'm guessing, you can apply that and play it with the old sound effects and soundtrack.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, so my memory's a little scattered on it. I can't remember if I'm thinking of Resident Evil 1 or 2, but I remember I believe it was 2, just loving the way the music was in that game. And there's nothing wrong with the way it is in the remake. It seems maybe a little bit more subdued, but I just kind of wonder, you know, a third playthrough might be cool. So you play with Leon, play with Claire, and then maybe
original sound.
And I wish that original sound was not DLC. DLC we've talked about before. Kind of pisses off, but nonetheless, it's really cheap, and I just think it adds another piece of a nostalgia or aesthetic to the game that might be really cool to check out.
And I'm glad that you brought up sound, because this game has really sweet sound, like the rain coming, and you can hear like zombies coming, and the closer they get, the louder they are. And there'll be times where there's no music, there's nothing, and you walk through a hallway, and then all of a sudden that creepy like music starts, and you're like, no, something's about to happen, please stop playing the music. I think I said it like 4 or 5 times yesterday, and it's really cool.
It's a full-on experience. If you like horror movies, you got to check this out. If you like survival horror games, this is a no-brainer. Literally could not be much better than it is for a survival horror game. And that brings me to the last thing I want to talk about, really, is just Capcom in general. We've thrown some daggers at Capcom since we've started this channel, because you know what? For a while there, just to be perfectly honest, they kind of sucked. But this is now 3 releases that I can think of that I'm very pleased with. So the Street Fighter collection was amazing.
Incredible.
Then Mega Man 11 came out of nowhere for us. We had high expectations, but we honestly did not think it was going to live up to them, and it was one of our favorite games of 2018. And now with this remake, they are really kicking ass right now, and I'm really happy, and kudos to Capcom. They have it in overdrive mode, and they, for whatever reason, they have steered the ship back in the right direction, and they're really doing some good things over there.
It's so crazy that they can make a game like Mega Man 11 and then do something like this. Like, those are completely different, and they're both incredible. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and you know, for traditional Resident Evil fans that maybe feel like at some points the series has lost its way, you're not going to feel that way with this. I almost am certain that traditional Resident Evil fans will find this game to be right in the wheelhouse and exactly what they would want and expect out of a Resident Evil 2 remake.
Let's talk about this beer. What do you think?
I think it's good. I wouldn't put it in the great category. It's a mocha coffee stout, right?
Yeah, so it's a chocolate coffee infused milk stout.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I think it's fine. There's nothing out of the ordinary about it. It's got a good carbonation to it. I don't know, to me it has a little bit of a funny nose. There's something a little goofy there, but it's good. I mean, I would be very pleased if I was out somewhere and ordered this on draft. This isn't going to break the mold and teach you anything new about a coffee milk stout or anything like that, but it's very enjoyable.
I'm enjoying it, but I kind of think it's a little bland, and I mean, it's really smooth, but that also goes with the blandness. Like, it's like so simple, and I don't really taste a lot. It's just, I don't know, it's an easy drinker, and that might not be a bad thing, but it might not be a good thing either.
Yeah, I would say very middle of the road.
Yeah.
I don't know, 3.5 out of 5, maybe 3 out of 5. We don't usually put a number on things, but not a bad stout. I'm glad we're drinking it, but this isn't one to shout from the rooftops about either. So anyway, first impressions. We are about 6.5 hours into the game. We've been trying to unearth every stone. We'll probably do a full review at some point once we get through this. We have a lot of irons in the fire right now, but we're definitely going to be revisiting this game. Without question, we recommend you go out and grab the Resident Evil 2 remake. It is freaking fantastic.
And I know 2019 just started. This potentially could be the game of the year. This is really good.
It's going to be really hard to beat. There's a lot of things coming down the pipe. 2019 is shaping up to be a great year, but I will not be surprised if next December we're sitting in this seat handing out our Gaming Off the Grid awards, and this is in the conversation.
Yep.
So
I have a feeling it's going to come up next October.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel. As always, you know the drill. Keep gaming, keep drinking, and we'll see you next time right here on Gaming Off the Grid.
Ready? Yep. Ah! Ooh! That fucking scared me. I need some coffee now, because some of that coffee just came out of my butt.
We are neck deep in this game, but we wanted to come at you today with our first impressions of this
game. Coffee infused milk stout. Sounds really good.
Dang it.
Someone's a little excited.